Hello, hi everybody. We are going to start into this webinar today, which is really focused on the ISCEA supply chain case competition. So welcome everybody, and in particular, a big welcome to Fatin and Naima, who have the a great pleasure of being able to call themselves the global champions, global winners of the 2024 edition of the case competition. So what they've kindly done and signed up for today is to really talk to us about the ISCEA case competition. So I suppose for you guys on the line on the call, but also then for others who might watch back in the recording who are interested in it, just to give an explanation about what it is and their experience of the case competition. So, Fatin and Naima, you're very welcome. And
Thank you.
what?
Thank you so much.
Great, yeah. So, what I'm maybe just to explain the case competition. So, what it is, it's a free young professional or student competition where we take a case, a real example, and it's up really to the team to use what they've learned, to use their what they've covered in various courses or in the university, and really just use as an opportunity to work together to give some proposals on how a company or how that case can improve. So here in Ireland, we are running the case competition for the very first time. So we'll be starting the first round in at the end of next week. We'll be releasing the case based on a company here in Ireland. But it's not something that's new to other parts of the world. So the guys, Fatin and Naimi, you're based in Dhaka, I believe, in Bangladesh. And so
Yeah,
I Okay, perfect. So, can you guys just t talk to us a bit about Bangladesh and what it's like for you guys being a student and just a glimpse into what living in Bangladesh is like?
Yeah, sure. So thank you so much again. I hope more guests will attend soon. So hi everyone, I'm Fatin Ishtiaq. I'm currently pursuing my MBA with a major in marketing at the University of Dhaka. And life as a student in Bangladesh is incredibly dynamic right now because we are living through this exciting period where traditional academic excellence is meeting more global and digital opportunities. For example, at the University of Dhaka, where I did, it's one of the most prestigious universities in Southeast Asia. So we are getting access to excellent education, getting more networks. And I think the best part of Bangladesh is that we are experiencing the rapid economic growth. So we are becoming one of the most fastest growing economies globally. And I think as students of this country, we are at the center of this transformation because we're seeing firsthand how the global supply chain is operating here in Bangladesh because we're becoming the manufacturing hub slowly. So through our textiles, through our pharmaceuticals, through our manufacturing industries. So I think that living in Bangladesh, getting to know all the industrial booming here is giving us more practical experience. So that's the best part of here. And this also helped us in a supply chain case competition because we had so many practical viewpoints. Maybe not the industrial reports, but of course the practical activities that have actually made us more, I would say, knowledgeable and helped us a lot to make a practical solution.
Naima, is there anything you'd add on to that, just around your experience and or maybe even just to give an introduction as to where you're coming from as well?
Hi everyone, this is Naima Zia, and I am from the same university, from the same department. We are basically friends. So, participating in this case competition was actually initiated by one of our friend, and when we were taking a sip of a coffee, and randomly decided that let's take a part of this in this part in this case competition. So at first, we thought that we would be probably can't get over the national round of this case competition, but with the help of our teacher and with the help of our other friends as well, we cracked the national part. And after that, we cracked the global part as well, and we are now the global champion of the ISCEA case competition.
Okay, brilliant. So maybe I think even a couple of things you mentioned there about like around Bangladesh in particular, and maybe some of the rapid changes that are happening in the economy and for life in Bangladesh. So you mentioned there that there was the country round. So maybe even just explain that. So how does it work? For you guys, ultimately there was a first round, which was the Bangladesh round. So can you talk about that, putting your name forward? What did that look like? I don't know,
Yeah,
Fatin, if you
sure.
want to.
Sure. As I have already said that Bangladesh is gradually becoming one of the world's fastest growing economies. So we are deeply into integrated supply chain models. For example, Bangladesh, we produce textiles for major international brands, manufacture pharmaceuticals for global markets, and our IT sector is rapidly expanding. So somehow when it comes to like international academic competitions, I think students from Bangladesh still are not that much getting the recognition or that are being involved in such competition. So I think ISCEA gave us this opportunity. And throughout this case last year, we had this opportunity to communicate with different industry experts. Maybe they have the local knowledge, but the insights, the wisdom they bring in is unmatched. So that small ideas actually helped us a lot. And then we compared it with the existing case studies of the Westerns or in established brands. And when we compared, we found that the local supply chain experts rather have more insightful ideas. And if we just can tweak that and ensure some of the ESG standards, or I would say the regulatory compliances, then that local knowledge, that local idea can actually translate into something that is actually a global standard idea. So this was the pinpoint, and this was the magic idea that we had brought from the local experts. And I think that also gave us an edge because mostly these solutions are academic framework based, and most of the time the real solution is not practical or maybe just textbookish. But what we had experienced while working with different industry experts, that no, the ideas must come from root level knowledge, and it must be feasible, and it must be something that addresses both the opportunities and the cost. So we have to strike a balance between that. So I think this was a best practical learning that we had so far.
Okay, fantastic. And so were there any, I suppose even just before we get into how you work through it, could you just explain like how does it work, how the case happens? So even just to describe, okay, so you get given the case and then there is a couple of weeks. So if you could just describe that process, just so people know what they're getting in for when they sign up for it.
Sure. I think Naima would like to explain that. The
Okay.
case
So
competition.
that's yes. So basically, whenever we registered, we got the case competitions question, and there was a problem of a national agricultural company which was facing a supply chain related problem for the seasonal variability and the climate change related problem. So this sort of problem is very common in the agricultural sector of Bangladesh. So the problem was very relatable to us. And that's why we tried to solve it. And as after registering the case for the competition, we got the case and we have to prepare our solution within the deadline. So if you registered for the competition, you will get more time for preparing your solution. So this gave us the edge as well, as we registered at the first week and we got the whole month for preparing our solution. It was a 20 pages Word document file where we have presented the problem, the solution, the implementation plan, and not only the implementation plan, we also try to visualize the plan through the diagrams as well. And of course, the plans and the strategy were not theoretical only. Rather, we have tried to bring the change in a quantitative matter. We try to include the numerical result that we can get from by implementing those results, suppose the ROI and etc. So
And
after winning,
oh no,
okay,
sorry, you keep
uh,
going. Sorry, Naim.
no, it's okay. So after winning the national phase, we got another case after a certain time that we have already won the national round, and we now have to compete with the international students. So at that time, we got a case. Which was name was probably the Green Tech Innovation, which is a global company, and it was a mid-sized electronic company facing public criticism for unhealthy supply chain practices. So again, this problem was also related with the supply chain practices, but this was focused on the sustainable practices, the 3P practices, which is the people, planet, and process. So our task was to create a full plan to fix that social and environmental issues while keeping the business efficient and profitable. So we looked at three things like conditions, environmental impact, and cost management. And it felt meaningful because these are real problems in our countries as well. So especially in sectors like garments and pharmaceuticals, we have seen these problems coming out. So we had to submit a report again and present our idea to industry expert who asked the real world question. And it was not just a theory, we had to give the solution that could work in real business as well. So after presenting the idea in a slide deck, we have to submit the presentation. And after a couple of months, we got the result that we won the global phase as well.
Okay, wow. And one of the things that you guys about talked to there was, I suppose, talking to the local experts in Bangladesh, and kind of that was, I suppose, nearly like a spark or an idea. How did you like bring that to the global case? Was that an important thing to root it in what you understand in Bangladesh, or what the experts that you talked in Bangladesh, what they were saying? Was that important to you, and for your deliverable?
Yes, of course, because as the for the initial round, which was a local round, we had related a case related to agriculture. So
Hmm.
we had to understand the nuances of agriculture related to supply chain. For example, the shelf life of agricultural product. For some fruits, for some vegetables, is very low. And if I store it properly, sometimes that shelf life is more, or maybe the transportation route. So everything was very nuanced, and we had to look at so intricate details. And we have found that even if we can manage at least one of those factors properly, we can significantly reduce the cost or the waste from the entire supply chain process. So understanding how waste occurs within a supply chain, how we can manage that, and how we can actually make sure more efficient process. It was, I think, a very self, I would say, self-fulfilling experience.
Hmm.
And the best part about local experts were they had the practical knowledge. For example, how the routes are connected, or actually what type of vegetables are better for what season, and what should farmers actually produce, or what should farmers actually focus on. So that was the kind of knowledge that we're looking for. And even in the next round, which was the international phase, we had a case that Naima just explained. It was related to the ethics and the 3P models. So I know that in third world countries like us, most of the time the environmental degradation occurs due to different industrial activities. But we actually found that our industrial experts, maybe they're local experts, but they have full knowledge of that. And within the scope of activity, they actually try to protect the environment as much as possible. So even they had expressed some sort of grief to us that even if sometimes there are stringent regulations, they are failed to operate within their full, I'd say, full operational scale to actually protect the environment, but they have that motivation. So they shared what they were lacking, and proposed that maybe we can integrate that in your case, but from a practical lens, not just hypothetical ideas, but something that is very practical. So I think that also helps us a lot.
Yeah. So I'll play back. I think what I think I heard. So you can correct me if I'm wrong, but So to me, it sounds like a really important part of what you guys did was you talked to people locally. So there was real practicality. It wasn't theory. There was something really tangible that you could point to, and you talk to people who live it. And by focusing on maybe small things, small improvements, looking for that real insight, and then to see, okay, how could this scale? What does it look like? So while we might pull on some theories or some bigger concepts, it's grounded in specific detail that, informed by people who see it, people who you've met. So it's sort of that was a real key piece, that whatever you looked at was grounded in sort of the specific, minute, practical details. Would that be fair?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah, no, I think for any of the teams I think that go on, I think that's a great insight to say. So it's not, I mean, sometimes I call it fluff. It's not just theory without the substance. So even it sounds like you started with the substance and then you've layered on and you've built your case on top of that, which is fascinating. Um, just for you as a team, just one of the questions I had about how you guys organized yourselves, how you work together, yeah, how you maybe overcome some of the roadblocks. Is there anything you can talk to about how you organized yourselves as a team so that you were such a high performing, successful team?
Sure. I think
Okay,
Naiman would like
so
to explain that.
yeah, so actually we don't have any specific leader throughout the time. We followed a fluid leadership style where there was no fixed leader. Leadership shifted based on who had the right skill for each task. Like if I talk about Fatin led the creative parts because his design skills is very fantastic. If I talk about my another team member whose name is Rajon, he handled the data and research part because he is very good at it. Because his focus, his concentration is something that he could bring a comprehensive idea from his research. So I think this worked really good in terms of organizing our work, but we didn't work in silos, right? Like everyone helped with research, analysis, and ideas. Like I have said previously that Rajan was doing research. That doesn't mean Rajan was only one person who was doing the research back to back. We also tried to help him, but he was the leader who was guiding us throughout the process. So this teamwork made our solution much stronger, and we tried to use the Google Workplace to stay organized. Like when we were doing our work, we were connected through Google Meet or probably the Microsoft Teams. So we tried to do our work in a very organized way, and that's why our solution followed a storytelling flow where the whole solution seems like a comprehensive idea, not like that the four-person created a solution which have four different parts. It was it had a continuous flow, like we are telling a story to someone that we have this idea and we could implement this idea and we can get this output. So some of our best idea came at late night chats. Actually, we tried to
Right.
do the messaging or probably the chats and like a 2 a.m. message that completely changed our approach. So we also held some regular challenging session where we questioned our own idea to find our own weakness. This made us much more confident when presenting to the judges about our solution.
Okay. No, that to me that sounds like a really high performing quality team, in the real sense. So that sounds really good. Sounds quite interesting, as you say, call out that there was no one sort of project lead. Sometimes people feel that you need to appoint a leader, and any group of people needs a leader. It sounds like that you were four peers who held each other accountable. Would that be fair?
Right.
Okay. No, and I think as well something that I think as a group of people, sometimes people get mixed up, or they think we need to just all agree. and that's what a good team is. But it sounds like there was a fair bit of challenge that you had that, but it was constructive challenge. So no,
Okay.
so it's yeah, no, so it's really good. I think it's a good insight as to what it takes to build a successful team. And when you guys were then you successfully came through, you mentioned to the global stage. How did that feel like that you were essentially representing Bangladesh on the global stage, and particularly Fatin, as you said, you felt maybe people from Bangladesh don't necessarily get the credit, or students get the credit that they deserve. How did that feed into your motivation?
Yes, I think it was a huge feeling for us. And coincidentally, when the result for the international round was published, it was the victory day of Bangladesh, the 16th of December. So I think it just felt like not like a personal victory, but a national victory. We were
Yeah.
very thrilled. We called our professors, we called our peers, we called everyone, even the media, and everyone was very thrilled. We got featured in the national newspaper as well in the front page. So I think
Wow.
it was one of the biggest achievements as students, and our professors were very happy with that. And I think the most incredible part was that we have ignited the spirit among many of the junior students or many of the professionals who actually now know about this competition, who actually know that yes, people from Bangladesh is also participating in such events, and they're getting to know about ISCA, they're getting to know about more about supply chains. So I think this is not just a national pride, but it's also an event that has motivated so many people. And we have already started hearing from students across Bangladesh saying, if they can do it, maybe I can do it too. So I think that's the real victory, inspiring others to dream bigger and reach further.
Wonderful. And but one of the points, or I suppose one of the prizes for winning, was that you guys from ISCEA got that they would cover a certification. So have you guys taken on the certification that you won as part of that?
Yes, I have chosen the Certified Sustainable Supply Chain Professional (CSSCP) certification because I think this is not just a trend. Sustainability should be something that should be practiced and that should be learned. So even if I have my background in marketing, but I think that this certification will actually help me to design more solutions that are not just greenwashing, that are really impactful, that will contribute to the environment. So I have decided to choose this certification.
Wonderful. And Naima, yourself?
Yes, I was actually fascinated by the intersection of data analytics and supply chain management. So the CFDP certification, which was certified forecaster and demand planner, aligned perfectly with my passion for research and data analysis. But it's about much more than just numbers. So modern supply chain generates enormous amount of data, but turning that data into actionable insights requires sophisticated analytical capabilities and deep business understanding. So I want to develop that predictive models that help companies to just react to market changes, but actually anticipate and prepare for them. So
Okay.
this is the thing, and this is the certificate I want to pursue.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'll just say if anybody on the line who's on the call on the webinar who wants to put in a question, you can do so in the chat. If you want to just put it in, we might get to it if we have a minute or two at the end. But we're just coming up towards the end of this session, and I suppose it's just a question really. I suppose Fatin and Naima to you guys is, really what's next, so that you've had this experience, and such a positive experience, which you're say inspiring others, which are all phenomenal things. So, where do you see you'll go from this? Maybe I'll go to you, Fatin, first.
Okay, so yes, this achievement was huge for us, but I think this is just the beginning. So as I am just about to complete my MBA, so I am aiming to pursue more academic knowledge in the line of supply chain, in the discipline of supply chain. And I think I want to pursue my career in a field where actually I can put into more sustainable marketing practices within the supply chain framework, because I think at this point, Bangladesh really needs that. And if we want to build a sustainable business model, maybe in any field, we actually need such frameworks and such ideas. So I really want to research on that, and that's my ambition.
Okay, and Naima, you?
Um, I also thought to pursue my further degree, and I thought to do a master's on supply chain because this case actually encouraged me. And after getting the certification, I think that it will help me to do a meaningful thing for myself and for my country as well. So I think there is so much potential for creating bridge between global knowledge and local insight. And exactly, we want to be a part of the generation that positions Bangladesh not just as a participant in global supply chain, but as a leader in supply chain innovation and sustainability.
Brilliant. Well, you've certainly contributed to that or have already. So I've no doubt that you'll continue to do that. I see we have a question from Paxia has put in a question. The two parts. The first part was, other than looking into practical experience, did you refer to any readings? So I suppose the reference of the theory.
Yes, we had some reference textbooks. Like one textbooks was written by Chopra. It was called Supply Chain Management, and I think it's a wonderful textbook. Any student who is like planning to participate in the competition must go through the textbook. It's a wonderful textbook.
Which one was that? Sorry, Patton?
It was a textbook written by Chopra and Mental, I believe, and the title was Supply Chain Management.
Okay.
I think I'd share the link with you of the textbook after the session.
Yeah, okay, no, that would be great. And the other question for Paxi was, so what was different about it, or what do you think was different about your proposal to other applicants, and how did you convince those that you're presenting to that you had the right solutions? So what were you thinking around that, or what do you think was different around your application that was made it successful?
I think what was different in our solution was that, as I said earlier, we had the integration of local insights and it was transformed into something that has the global standard. So it was not just bluff, as you just mentioned, Paul. It was something that is actually practically feasible, but also has its own, I would say, limitations. But yes, we had acknowledged that limitation. And then we had some other I would like to say mitigation strategies so that our solution is something that is easily, I would say, implementable. And it has given us the edge because it was not something a very big fancy idea that transformed the world just within a moment, but it was something that had a long vision. And I think a solution that had that owns that long-term vision is very important because that is what that makes your case, I would say, more connecting to the judges. So yeah, I think that was our only factor that gave our solution different from others.
Well, I'm starting to see from talking to you guys as to why you were successful, and that approach, that strategy that you used is a very compelling one. And I think in all of our interactions, just in preparation for this, I can see that methodical approach and thoroughness, which I think no doubt as well contributed to that. I think the point you mentioned there, Naima, earlier around it being one story, I think as well is very powerful, and that sometimes you see people where it's okay, now I'm going to go to your section and you've got disjointed pieces. So I think achieving that was, I'm sure, was a big part as well. But we're just out of time, so I'll just say now to Naima and to Fatin, thank you very much for taking the time and sharing this. I think it's been very helpful for everybody who listened back to this and who's been on the call. So thank you so much. And again, congratulations on your big achievement and making the front page of the national paper in Bangladesh. Well deserved, and thank you so much for sharing your time today.
Yes,
Thank
it's
you
a
so
pleasure
much
to
to
be
you
here.
too.
Okay,
It was
thank you, and thank you
actually
everybody for joining. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks so much. Good luck.
Thank you, Paul. Bye bye.
Bye.
bye.